How's it going? It's about 1:15. This is my typical starting. I'm usually not heading out, but I have to in the heat. But it's not that bad today. I'm heading over to HomePro at Ekamai. I got that wallpaper lifting up slightly, just an inch over the window, and yeah, I told the landlady, hey, with your permission, let me go get some wallpaper paste. And I did that once, maybe 30 years ago. I don't think it's rocket science. Let me goop a little glue in there and get a sponge. Well, I have a couple of sponges, and see if that's going to clean it up. They're hard at work on the new tiles on the sidewalk, change the gutters. Hard-working folks. And this is what it looks like with the new curb and new tiles. Yeah, I would kind of prefer just a concrete sidewalk. These tiles are going to get lifted with the movement and tree roots, but that's fine. It's certainly better than many places in the world where you're walking in mud. And if you've never watched my channel, I welcome you. I'm Joe. I'm just hanging out here in Bangkok, Thailand, and surrounding areas. Just did a video over in Pattaya Beach, about 90 miles away. Plus, it's so easy to jump on a plane here in Bangkok and go 3, 4, 5 hours in any direction. And I have Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, Korea. Go a little further, you're down in Australia. Went over to New Zealand. From there, headed over to the islands in Tahiti. So yeah, I'm enjoying my retirement. I've always been a traveler, but it's nice to just wake up and take off tomorrow for a trip 3 hours away, or flight, whatever it is. I like doing these little projects. I know 99% of people will let the landlady know, hey, we've got an issue with the wallpaper, let's bring somebody in here. But it keeps me busy. Well, I'm plenty busy. I like doing these little projects. Plus, I keep in her good graces, and I'm coming up on being in that place 3 years on the same reduced rent that I got when I moved in. And I might stay a 4th year, maybe even sign another 2-year agreement. I'll just be honest with her that if we do another 2 years, I'll pretty much guarantee I'll be there 1 year, and then the 2nd year, it's iffy. I don't know what's happening a year and a half from now. So I'll tell her definitely 1 more year if we want to do a 2-year agreement, and I think she's up to that. That would be, I did a 1-year lease. I'm finishing up a 2-year lease here pretty soon. Maybe sign another 2-year lease. And with this little channel and with the amount of friends I have, I can basically tell her, hey, if I go off in another direction after that 1st year, or I'm getting a little confused, that would then be 4 years in the apartment. I still have 1 year left on the lease. I basically tell her, if I could cut out, if I could get you a good tenant, would that be acceptable? I'm sure she'd say, yes, that's fine, because we've had 0 issues. And in the case I stay for the next 2 years, that's great. I still have a little reduced rent. And we kind of started talking about the air conditioners. They're 2006 models, so 20 years old, and the one in the bedroom, I've changed the Freon. You got to have them come in and clean them. Some say every year, some say every 6 months. As a matter of fact, in my buddy's lease, he told me last night, we had this discussion, it's in his lease that he has to pay for the air conditioning cleaning twice a year. And the other guy said, yeah, I don't have that in my lease, and my landlord pays to have it cleaned once a year. So if you're a little more susceptible to allergies, and they do kind of not get moldy, but they could. It's not a bad idea to have them go in there and clean it. Again, my landlady said, let me pay to have the AC person come in. I said, no, I'll pay. And it was $21, I believe, US. So again, just those little nickel and dime charges. In her mind, if there are 5 or 6 of them a year, well, I mean, it might be a better candidate to raise the rent 3,000 or 4,000 baht. If there are 0, she's listening when I say let's not touch the rent. But we did breach the subject of, hey, why don't you leave my rent exactly where it's at, and I'll buy a new air conditioner, and then you buy one. They're not that much, $500 each, maybe, if they're on sale, cheaper, and oftentimes free installation. So she is thinking about that and is going to run it by your son. Maybe we'll have the cleaner tech come out and give him the once over once more. She did kind of mention, yeah, you know, that's not a bad idea, but if they're still working, she said, why don't we wait till the next, I think it's called a 333 sale. And I'd heard of that last year. I remember my girlfriend talking about it. I think it's in October, and I think that's when everything goes on sale. I'm not sure. Anyhow, it seems like we're on the same page. She shot back a message basically saying, yeah, you're the ideal tenant, and she's pretty much the ideal landlord. I'm 59 years old. I haven't had a landlord since I was 25. I think that's when I bought my first condo. But I'm in no big hurry to buy anything, so it's nice to work with a reasonable owner. And I kind of felt like a bowl of soup. It's 70 baht for the big, large pork soup. But all these tourists in this area, there might be some Thais over there, but there are a lot of Korean and Japanese tourists that just love this rongrun noodles. There's 2 behind me and 1 across the way. I would probably get through that line in 10 minutes, but yeah, I think I'm not starving, so I think I'm gonna keep going and head up to Ekamai to the HomePro. And I'm looking at the sign, R-U-N-G, separate word, R-U-E-A-N-G, Rongrun pork noodle, Sukhumvit, soy 26. That's the larger location next to the 7-Eleven. And then across the way here are 2 locations right next to each other. They just keep expanding. I don't know. Somebody explained to me there was a family beef, and one person started the shop right next door, and I think they're just so popular they opened this bigger store across the way. They do close early at about 5 p.m. Getting into the second part of February, it's a little hit or miss. Today's actually windy, which is unusual. I don't know, maybe 85 degrees, but it just flips like a light switch. Somewhere at the end of February, into March, all of a sudden it's just 25 degrees hotter, it seems. And then going into April, that's usually the hottest month with the Songkran Water Festival. I don't know how you feel about having ice cold buckets of water thrown at you, but it feels pretty good during that time of the year. Let's head over to the Prompong BTS, jump on the train, and go to the next station, Thong La, then Ekamai. And I know some people might comment, oh, that's crazy. I wouldn't buy an air conditioner, and that sounds like a bad deal. But if I have an 18 in the living room, 18 BTU, 18,000, and a 12. Well, it should be a 12 in the bedroom. There's a 18,000 in there for some reason, which is overkill. I don't know, maybe they're the originals, and when they built the building, they just had pallets of 18,000. That bedroom does not need an 18,000 BTU, and I let her know a 12,000 is probably more than enough, maybe even a 10, but a 12,000 BTU, if I were to buy it, $350. And again, some people's initial reaction might be, that's a waste for an apartment you don't own. Yeah, I either do that and keep my rent at 19,000 baht, or perhaps after being there 3 years, her and her family thinks it's a good idea to kick the rent up $200 a month. And that is about what a lot of people are paying. So you tell me, one $300 purchase and leave the rent alone, or 200 extra bucks or 150 extra bucks a month. Yeah, I think the break-even point is not a bad decision there. Or it's not a hard decision to make, is what I'm saying. It's the old saying, penny wise and pound foolish, yet some people will, I don't know, just have it stuck in their head that I'm not paying $350. All right, well, pay $300 after the next 3 months of your new rent if you'd like. And I'm no expert on the rentals. From what I understand, when you use an agent to get a condo, the owner has to pay 1 month's rent. So there you go. If rent is, in my case, 19,000 baht, which is low for that building. I think most people are paying 25, 27. I think there's a couple of 23s in there for the 52 meter. But if I left, sure, she's no longer getting the 19. Maybe she can raise the rent to, I don't know, 24. But it could sit empty for a month, and then when she does get somebody in there, she has to pay the realtor 24,000 commission. So there you go. That's almost 50,000 baht right there, 48, to just have me leave and get somebody else in. So when you start talking about, why don't you give me a $40,000 AC and 40,000 baht, and I buy a 20,000 baht AC, it's starting to make sense when we all know we kind of work well together. And I've said it twice now, the purpose of me heading to the HomePro, and I'm also getting a washing machine hose. Again, I know most people aren't going to want to change their washing machine hose, but I like all this stuff. It's kind of reminds me of being back home and all my little home projects. I sometimes want to own something over here just so I can do those things, build some built-in shelves and different things like that I'm probably not going to want to invest in a rental, even if she gave me permission, which I'm sure she would. Hey, you want to bring in some nice shelving and bolt it to the wall, some new cabinets? Sure, send me some pictures, and 99% of the time she's probably going to agree, but I don't know how anxious I am to start spending thousands of dollars on a place I might only be in the next year or 2 years. And just getting back to kind of my average day here in town, yeah, I'm a night owl. I was out with friends last night till about midnight, came home, got on the computer, started editing video, working on YouTube comments, that type of thing. The next thing you know, it's 4 in the morning, did a little bit more work, went to sleep about 5, and now I'm popping up at noon, getting the day started. Other people, I understand, like to jump out of bed at 5 or 6 in the morning. That's not me. I enjoy the cool evenings here in Bangkok, and I'm usually out till midnight, 1 in the morning most nights. Not a drinking thing, just hanging out, enjoying the cool evening. There are plenty of spots that are open until midnight. Now I'm jumping on the train here. I'm using my Rabbit card. Just bring your passport for the first time. I think it's 125 baht deposit. That passport, other people have said, no, they accepted my, whatever it was, Australian driver's license. I don't know. I just wouldn't risk it. Bring the passport or a color copy. I keep one in my wallet. That's good enough for this or getting a new phone. Now, when you go to the bank, you're absolutely going to need that original passport. So just keep in mind the passport's going to be your main ID. And once you get the card, you just load money on it. There's a way to do it on the app. I haven't figured it out or bothered to learn. Just buzz in. It says I have 754 left, so we'll see what it costs to go up to Ekamai. I'm going to guess 19 or 21 baht. I get it. I could easily walk up there, but again, it's kind of the heat of the day. When I go out walking and filming for 5 to 10 miles. A little walk to Ekamai. Yeah, get on the train. And like a dummy, I came up to the wrong platform. I haven't did that in years. Most of the time I'm heading towards Asok, heading in that direction. But I need to get on the train heading towards Nut. So no big deal. If you make the mistake I just made, it's not that big a deal. It doesn't cost you any extra money. Just cut on over to the other platform. Now, if you got on the train going in the wrong direction by mistake, that doesn't cost you any extra money anyhow. Just get up to the next station once you figured out your error, then cross over. In other words, I'm heading off towards Ekamai. If for whatever reason I got on the train going towards Asok, I'd get off the train there, get back on the proper train, heading towards Ekamai, and get off, and I think you're just charged the same amount. Not that big a deal. And seriously, I haven't made that mistake in at least a couple of years. I'm just not paying attention. And the building continues right here at the Ma Vista, right at the Prompong BTS. 45 luxurious units starting at 70 million Thai baht. So that's righteous bucks, right at the top of Sukhumvit, Soi 39. A little out of my price range, but I'm heading down the tracks here, and again, I would much rather be out here at 5 o'clock at night with all the sun behind all the nice buildings. So it's just seems like it's 20 degrees cooler. It's probably 6 degrees cooler, but it's just much nicer without the, for me anyhow, without the sun beating down on me. And as far as daily use on these trains, it's all pretty self-explanatory. There's arrows pointing to, and I'll show them up here, where to stand, because when those train doors open, Thai folks, and even myself, they'll work their way to the door as they're approaching, say, the Ekamai station. They don't sit in their seat and wait till the train comes to a stop and then get up and jump out the door. No, everybody kind of tries to stand. You'll see, right when the train pulls up here, and this is the slow time of the day, but right when the train pulls up, they're just stepping right out. It's none of this 10-second delay. So don't be loitering about right there at the front door if that's not your station. And if you're stuck standing there, because sometimes these trains are packed, you can see these trains are empty. But if you're stuck right there by the front door, you need to step out and let the people out and then step back into the train. I would also avoid this first train or the last train, because they're the ones right near the stairs that people tend to run to, so they're always packed. If you go to one of the middle trains here during rush hour, yeah, you have a fighting chance. If the train pulls up and it's just bumper to bumper people, just wait 2 more minutes. Another train will come along and it's going to be bumper to bumper people too as well. But you can see, stand here and let people out here. And when you hear that beeping, see, I was going to try to jump in there, but it's not cool form to do that, because they close up quick. And I'm not sure, I would guess there's some kind of an emergency stop like in an elevator, but still don't do it. When you hear the beeping, just wait for the next train. And that train actually, it actually sat there a long time for whatever reason. So I was gonna jump in it, but no, I can see the next train down at Assault. It's already heading this way. And I carry around a little backpack with all my gear in there, especially during the rainy season. Have the umbrella and some flip-flops if I need to navigate 2 feet of water. But even that small backpack, I take it off when you get in the train. You don't want to be walking around like a turtle bumping into everybody. And certainly if you're wearing one of those, I don't know what they are, 50 or 60 liter backpacks with half of what you own, definitely take that off and just hold it down by your knees. You're going to get some strange looks if you're walking into a busy train just banging into everybody with your backpack. So yeah, don't do that. And you're not going to want to be on the phone, on speaker, yelling at your buddy over on the other side of the world. That's not cool. I'll say 95% of Thais are glued to their phones, but nobody is on speakerphone yelling into the receiver there on the train. It just doesn't happen. If you hear that at all, it's going to be a visitor. This is the M Quartier Mall. There are 3 malls here at Prompong where I live. So this is just a real easy place to live with the malls, the train, the parks. It's also one of the more expensive places in town. The Emporium across the way, the M Quartier with the stage behind me. Over there where you see the IKEA sign, that's the M-Sphere Mall. And they're all 3 connected under the BTS here. There's a nice covered walkway to go over to the M-Sphere. The UOB Live concert venue up above. Over here is the 11-acre Benjasiri Park. There's a lap pool in there through I think it's the Boys Club. Small skateboard park, basketball courts. There's a water feature. Across the way there, that large building over here is the 5-star Marriott Marquis on Sukhumvit Soi 22. Beautiful hotel. I always kind of try to mix it into the videos. Folks will always ask me, I'm watching the videos, but in my videos I'm in everywhere. La Prau, Thonburi, just all over Bangkok. So it might be a little confusing if, say you've watched 10 of my videos, not all of them are right here in the easiest place to live of Prompong and Asok and that type of thing. So when I get the question about just coming for a 5-day visit, come right here to Prompong or Asok. Asok is a little bit more, not touristy, it's more busy. I'll call that the Times Square of Bangkok. It's every visitor in town is going to be running around that Terminal 21 area there at Asok. Up here at Prompong, it's busy, but it's more folks that live here. There are plenty of tourists, but not as much as, say, Asok. Anyhow, Prompong, in between Prompong and Asok, I would say that is the number one place. Look at the Hyatt Place on Soi 24, number one place for an easy stay. Of course, it's not the number one place to live. There's probably 1,000 places that are better once you learn the city. But just coming over for a short visit, and I shouldn't say it that way. If I could afford to buy something in Prompong or wanted to spend that much money, which I don't, I could, but you'd just get so much more for your money 5 miles from here. So that's the only reason. But renting, I'm definitely living here and staying in a hotel for a week. Go right to Soi 24, look at the Hyatt Place or anything around it. Go up Soi 22 up on the other side of the IKEA here. It's a little more gritty, a little bit more beer bars and massage ladies sitting out and all. You'll catch that everywhere in town, including at the top of 24 and my street, the top of 26. But Soi 22, it's a notch above. Still, there are some beautiful places like that Marriott Marquis. For a little bit more affordable choice, many people stay at the Admiral. I don't know if it's the Admiral Suites or the Admiral on Soi 22. Somewhere around $50 US. You get a large place, oftentimes with a kitchen. So check that out. Or you can go down the way to Soi 20. Plenty of hotels. That is where the Courtyard by Marriott is and the Best Western. I just throw these US hotels out there because I've stayed in them all with miles and points. I'm a big airline and hotel point guy, but plenty of Accor hotels and all the Japanese brands. They're all here. Be a little careful. You're absolutely going to get what you pay for if you're looking at hotels and they all seem to be around 40, 50, 60 bucks and then here's the $15 hotels. Yeah, you're going to get $5 worth and pay $15. I'd much rather invest, do what you have to do to stay at the $35 place. It's going to probably be a better experience. But with that said, I have stayed in like some $20 a night places. Oftentimes they'll just have a little quirk like no windows. It's in the middle of a shop house area and you're in the back and it's just that. There might be a couple of painted windows on the wall, but you're in a little submarine, but it's 20 bucks a night. One more thing I just noticed, if you see the handrails there in the middle, they'll even make an announcement, please don't lean up against those. You'll always see a visitor. It's never a Thai person. They kind of understand how busy these trains get, but when a person is not even thinking about it, just leaning up against that handrail, that prevents 5 other people from putting their hands there. And I don't like to generalize anybody, but more often than not, call it 80% of Thai folks are not going to say, oh, excuse me, move out of the way so we can all hold on. They're just not going to do it. They'll stand there and be kind of bouncing around because these trains get a little herky-jerky and just not say anything. But then it doesn't leave a great impression. Most Thai folks, like I just jumped into my elevator and with a Thai gentleman about my age, I'd never seen him before, and he goes, hey, how's it going? Are you a visitor? Are you a tourist? And they'll say tourist. They won't say, are you a visitor? I guess being from San Diego, when you said, the tourists are in town, it had a little bit of a negative connotation. But here in Thailand, you either live here or you're a tourist, and that's not putting you down. So I said, no, I live here. And I said, I love Thailand. I love Bangkok. And they always will say, thank you very much, for enjoying my country. So it's a real positive thing going on. And if myself or other visitors, when we come over, I try to adjust to the Thai way. I don't want to be that guy, just the loud American, and I am a loud American. When we're in a bar, 3 pints in, we're all kind of, and it's not just me, my buddies from all over the world, we're kind of yelling at one another and all, and maybe a Thai person who's never been in an Irish pub might come in and cringe. But then again, I've been in the beer halls with the Thai folks at midnight that are hooting and hollering and carrying on. It's just not so much on a common occurrence at 4 p.m. at a happy hour. At midnight at a beer hall after a couple of towers of Chang, sure, everybody's noisy. But talking on the trains, and the other issue is not happening. The other issue is there are priority seats. They're clearly marked in English and Thai. They might even be in Chinese, I'm not sure. But it basically says this is for older folks or disabled or monks, pregnant ladies. So don't plop down in that seat and, have a pregnant lady standing 2 feet away. I don't think many people would do that, but that's definitely not going to be a good look for anybody, any Thai person seeing that happening. And I haven't seen too many monks on the train, but every now and then you will, and I'll see everybody offering their seat to the monk. But most younger monks, it's kind of a, how do I put it? It's, no, I'll stand. They're very humble guys, and it's kind of like, I appreciate it. I appreciate the gesture, but I'm just fine standing. And then 2 seconds later, somebody else will offer that monk a seat. So it does happen. Me, personally, I rarely sit down. If it's a complete empty train at 10:30 at night, sure, I'll sit down and go 5 stops. But just like right now, it's just so easy to stand and let the Thai ladies that are working double shifts and on, let them have the seat. That's how I feel about it. There's plenty of great street food all around town, but you can only eat that so much. I mean, even my Thai girlfriend, she's not eating Thai food. Well, she probably eats it 95% of the time, but even she wants to mix it up sometime. But if you're a Western guy like me, here at the Turtle or 7-Eleven, it's kind of a running joke about how we all like the toasted ham and cheese sandwiches. They are nice. I'll grab 3 of them and keep them in the fridge. It kind of hits the spot at midnight sometimes. Probably not the greatest thing to be eating at 1 in the morning, but hey, if you're hungry, you're hungry. But just these Turtle stores at the BTS, there's plenty of little BLT sandwiches for $1.50. These bigger sandwiches are 80 baht. I know I'll get it in the comments, asked in a kind of a discreet way. I'm just a little concerned about the food, Joe. I'm not big into spicy, and a lot of the food over here, the spice is on the side, so you can request non-spicy even when they're making it. But when they're mixing up, say, a pad thai, usually it's not like in the United States, or I'd guess in England. I've had pad thai in Australia. It was definitely, they threw the chili oil in there and they kind of ask you what level of heat do you want. Here, the spice is on the side and it's up to you. 0 spice. As a matter of fact, if you're a Farang, a foreigner, and don't take offense to that term, I know some folks are, oh, that's derogatory, I don't like being called a Farang. Well, get used to it. We're always going to be called Farang over here. It just is what it is. It's kind of like being called a gringo in Mexico. That's just what's going to happen. And if you're a lesbian, you're going to be called a tomboy. I've mentioned that before. So again, it's nothing to get too carried away on. Nobody's putting you down by calling you a tomboy. As a matter of fact, it might be like, oh, you're a tomboy. Oh, great. My best friend's sister is tomboy. She's one of my best friends. It's not derogatory in any way. I know I'm an older guy, and I'm struggling at times to keep up with LGBTQT, or if they've added on another letter there, it might take me 6 months to catch up. But I try to do the right thing and not offend everybody. Over here, you're a tomboy. Oh, and getting back to the food thing, let's say you want to ease into the Thai thing and just eat Western food. I know a lot of people will wave their finger and say, you're being foolish. You know, Western food is twice as much, 3 times as much, and that's true. But you can absolutely come over here and never taste Thai or spicy food. I'm not recommending to come over here and just eat donuts, but there you go. There's some pretty tasty looking donuts for 25 baht, and your KFCs, McDonald's, pizza, even nicer kind of diner restaurants where you can go in there and get whatever it is, a nice BLT with a salad and all. That's all here. Salad. There's all kinds of salad restaurants. Salad Factory, I think it is. You can go in there and just get this huge salad and then add whatever proteins you want, chicken, shrimp, on and on. So don't sweat the food. Yes, if you're going to come over and primarily eat $1 street food every day, sure, you're gonna save a ton of money. I'll say most of us, most of my buddies and myself, we don't eat a ton of street food. We will, but I eat a lot of Thai food in restaurants. It's just almost the same price. If it's, call it 60 baht for a little pad Thai on the street, for one thing, it's going to be a little tiny order, where when you go in with 2 little fingernail-sized pieces of chicken, and maybe fingernails, not the right thing to say when getting some food, but if you go into one of the pubs and even if you don't drink, just get a water or a Diet Coke, whatever it is, and get a big old huge plate of pad Thai with a whole chicken breast cut up. It's delicious, and it's 150 baht. So there you go. It's all about what it is you want to do. And when somebody says you're paying 3 times as much for that pad Thai, sure, but you're getting 3 times as much food. Not that I need to eat that much food, but one big plate like that and I'm good for the day. Or you can do what the Thai folks do, like my girlfriend, and eat 5 or 6 times a day, those tiny little meals. I think I took off at the 754 mark. It was 729, so that's 25 baht. They keep talking about lowering the rate for Thai folks to a flat rate 20 baht fee. I'm not positive. I think it caps out at 49 baht or 51, but you get there pretty quick. So if you're here in Ekamai and you ride the train up to, I don't know, Phia Thai, say, okay, boom, you're at 49 baht, but then you can go to whatever it is, 15 more stops, and it remains at 49. But a flat 20 baht anywhere you need to go, I'd like to see that for the Thai folks. I mean, sure, I'd much rather pay 20 baht to go anywhere myself, but I understand I'm on a Western pension and I can afford a little bit more. The Thai folks, that 49 baht might be the difference between sitting on 3 buses or paying the 49. You know, the 3 buses you might be able to do for less than 20 baht. I don't know. I think the old non-air conditioned bus is 10 or 12 baht. I'm not on it often, and I just hand them a 20 and they hand me back some coins. Just don't even think about it. Today, I guess I was making this little video and wanting to show you the train, but this is a perfect time to just jump on whatever bus is standing in front of you. The only, not issue, is I would have had to cross to the other side of the street. So in my case, I'd walk up to the top of 26, go up and over the train station to jump on whatever bus, you know, just happen to be there, and there'll be a ton. There's no traffic, as you can see here at 1 in the afternoon, so perfect just to pay 12 baht and run up the street here to Ekamai. Again, I was showing you the train. Oh, and by the way, coming off the train right there, just going up, not even a 2-minute walk on the left, is the Ekamai bus station. So that's Sukhumvit 42 down below. That's where you'll find the bus, northern bus station. There's another one at Mochit up. The original BTS, the headquarters is right there at Mochit. It's a big, beautiful building. But Mochit to Onut, that was the BTS for the longest time. Anyhow, there's the Mochit bus station. That's a little better when you're trying to catch a bus to, say, Hua Hin, because you don't have to deal with the coming back through Bangkok to get over to, say, Pattaya. From Pattaya, Ekamai, or points beyond, heck, you can catch a bus there and go to Chiang Mai or anywhere. You can catch a bus to Phuket if you want to sit on a bus for whatever that takes. 12 hours, I'd guess. All the Chinese New Year decorations are up. That's the HomePro. Right when you walk off now this is a smaller one, the Ekamai BTS, you walk into this gateway mall. It's not a huge mall. As a matter of fact, upstairs are some language schools, smallish food court. That Harborland, you'll find those all over Thailand. They're for the kids, the trampolines and the bouncy ball things. But there's a bunch of Japanese restaurants, a Japanese bakery. Ekamai has a big Japanese population. You can walk right off the train. I'm sure, hopefully, I'll find what I need at this smaller HomePro. There's a 4-story one up at Chitlom, but you need to get out in the Lap Prau area for the superstores. They're as big as say a Home Depot in the US, just huge, and they'll have 100 selections of tiles and dozens and dozens of refrigerators, on and on. This place, it might have, I know it has some small appliances, maybe even 1 or 2 larger refrigerators, but for the most part, this is where you come for the smaller hardware needs. And I have very good luck with Lazada. I could have 100% popped in my Electrolux washing machine and ordered the correct hose. Maybe it cost $2 or $3 extra compared to just getting a generic hose here, but I just cut off a piece of the hose with a hole in it, and I'm bringing it over here. I'll try to match it up. Probably cost me a couple of bucks. Again, these are just little projects that keep me busy. Other people would want to have nothing to do with it, because my particular washing machine, I know Boone, she just bought a brand new machine 6 months ago, and it was very easy. The hose that came with the machine just ideally went into the spout sticking off the back of the machine. My crazy machine, you have to take the back of the machine off and get to the pump, which is nowhere near the back of the machine, and it's just an extra step, which I understand most people aren't going to want to do, but me, it's like, I can do this, no problem. And if you buy a condo and for whatever reason, there's always been Thai folks living in there, and my girlfriend's been doing the cold plunge shower way before it was fashionable. She turned this thing down to 0 at my place. I absolutely need to take the edge off, but these little, whatever they are, on-demand burners, they don't make lightning hot water, but it's definitely warm. You can see they're not that much. This one, 5,790, 4,500 watts. For 3,500 watts, you get the Sharp, 1,890. Hot sale. I'm in a rental unit, but it almost would be worth it to me, call it for 10,000 baht, to buy that 6,000 baht one and have it wired up under my sink and have hot water in my kitchen. 99%, probably every place I've ever stayed at does not have hot water in the kitchen, and it's not that big a deal, but I kind of like splashing a little hot soapy water on my dishes. All right, I need to focus and head over to the washing hoses section, but different little things like this spice rack always get my attention. I'm always trying to make it easier to live in a small place, and a different little rack like that. I have just like a little cheapie from IKEA. That's only 500 baht, so 15 bucks, and I can certainly take that with me. I know a lot of folks come over and they're still living a super minimalistic lifestyle, and trust me, been there and did that. I one time was so light in my travel. The person I was going out with, she was Canadian, real super nice lady, but she didn't understand how we can travel around the world with a 7-kilogram backpack. And when she laid out all her stuff, I'm like, okay, you don't need to carry that whole makeup bottle. And I had the little whatever they are, eyeglass holders, and I go smear some makeup in there, and there you go. We're only gone for 12 days. That's all you're gonna need. And she ended up liking it. But now that I live here, I got all kinds of racks and irons and on and on and on. And even then, it's just not that big a deal. When I move from one condo to another, I've said it a bunch of times, I just hired the Lala Move guy. You take a kind of pile everything up in the living room, take a picture, they bid on it. This guy, I don't know, he was just kind of desperate for the job, I guess. Everybody was saying, like, still pretty reasonable. I'll do it for 1,500 baht. And the other guy, I'll do it for 1,400. Well, we went all the way down, and finally this guy was like, yeah, I'll do it for 650 baht, I think. Even after him and I loaded the vehicle, went over, unloaded it back into the new condo, I think I ended up giving him 1,500 baht. It was just so much work, and it took us 3 hours maybe to unload, drive from En Nut to Prompong. I just didn't feel right about giving the guy $18 as his wife holding a baby sitting in the front seat of the truck. This is just a hard-working guy, and again, I'm not saying, hey, come on over and pay double for everything, but there's just times where I'm so grateful that something is 18 bucks that might have been, well, not might have been, will be $1,800 in the U.S., if not $2,800, to have some movers come and drive you 5 miles across town and pack and unpack and all. Yeah, that's just not cheap. Over here, if it's less than 50 bucks, I'm not even batting an eyelash, or batting an eye. What's the old saying? I'm not thinking twice about it. Let me just keep it simple. But it's still going to have a wide selection of things. Table lamps, all the electrical things. I just like any guy, going into the big superstore and seeing 100 different examples of tile work and lighting. This is right in the middle of the city store, but you can definitely come in here, and I have. Get your fluorescent light bulb, the LED type. I've never had one of those in any of my homes, and when my light went out, I pulled the thing off, and it had that round LED strip, and I had to Google because there were 2 little wires that kind of clipped in, and I didn't know if one was a negative and one was a positive. It said it didn't matter, and it didn't. I still kind of, maybe a bit of an overkill, I marked which one was on the right and which one was on the left with tape, and then I put them in the new new light bulb the exact same way. But again, I don't think it matters. And this is the place to come for air purifiers, fans. I don't have one, but I'm not too bothered by the pollution around town. I know some people, it blows their mind, but I did a video where I looked up the different air numbers, and Bangkok was like number 36 in the world. I mean, Cairo, I think, was 4 times as dirty, the air. And I know there's some places around the world, like in Mumbai or Delhi, where the sky is just orange most of the time. Here in Bangkok, it's not great with the burning season, and in the morning with the temperature inversion, it's just all that kind of pollution is trapped under a lid. But it seems to go away by 11 in the morning once things heat up. So do what I do and just sleep through it. When you wake up, the air is much cleaner. I might have struck out. I might have to get it online. She said they only have these big generic hoses, and my drain hose is not that size. Again, very nice lady I just spoke with, but she seemed to know her business. But here's sometimes what will happen. They'll say, nope, don't have that. You need to order that online. And then I walk around the corner, and there they are. So it's not uncommon. It's no big deal. She just may not know that department, but I am kind of standing in the plumbing department. That is one thing. I'm just so spoiled coming from the U.S. You can walk into a Walmart or a Target, and they seem to have 99% of what you need. Here in Thailand, what was I looking for one time? Oh, I have a beach cruiser bike with, I forget what, 26-inch wheels, I guess. And I was looking for an inner tube. I just happened to be out and about, so I went into Big C, no. Lotus, no. DIY, which is kind of like a Big Lots, I guess, no. I had to go to a bicycle store, and then even then, they only had the expensive like mountain bike tires, and I didn't need a whatever they were, a $15 inner tube for a stupid beach cruiser. So I had to order that thing on Lazada. It showed up the next day, no problem. So I'm starting to kind of get in the habit of just ordering things rather than going down and trying to find an inner tube at the local store. Sometimes that's a little hit and miss, and more miss than hit. And they had my wallpaper paste or glue. He goes, I only have one size, so it's kind of a big one, which I don't know. I guess how many people come along and want a little tiny thing of wallpaper paste, but it's only $2.39. I think it's time for the old expat to get a little toolbox, 250 baht, and some cheapy screwdrivers. I've been using the Swiss Army knife for a while, and a little scraper there. I do got to scrape some silicone. I had a little something glued up to the mirror that kept falling off, so I've been using razor blades to do that kind of thing. Get me a little putty knife. Again, add to the collection of stuff, but I live here, and that isn't exactly the snap-on toolbox I had in the garage in California, but it'll keep things organized. You know, I put the big old thing of, because I don't want to waste it. It's not the 239 baht, but I don't need all that. I did look on Lazada, and they had like little touch-up tubes like that for less than $1. So maybe I'll do that. Although it was showing this product, latex adhesive, in the, that's 28 baht. It was showing that on Lazada in the wallpaper department. So maybe I need to do a little more research on that. Probably I'll just get that little tube. Again, that's not urgent. Just trying to clean it up. All kinds of 3M products here. Is that Singer oil for sewing machines, maybe? 3M lubricants, 99 baht. San Diego company, WD-40. They've probably been chased out of California. It's hard to do business there, but there you go. Super glue. I think I've seen the Gorilla Glue products here. Scotch tape. Well, a quick Google search says this TOA is perfect for touching up, peeling wallpaper. So I'm going to give it a try. I'll try it in a little test area, and I'm sure it'll be fine. Put it on there, clean it up with some water and a sponge. And give it a try. Again, it's just barely peeling. I'm just trying to stop it before it kind of flips up 6 inches. And again, it's not that big a deal, but I just asked the gentleman. I even put it on my phone. They all speak English, but when you say something like, I want to organize the cables on my desk, sometimes it gets a little confusing, and he took me over to the desk department, and so I put on Google Translate, no, cable organization. I want that flexible tubing that you can run the cables in. He says, oh, no, we don't have that. And here it is. I found it in a bunch of different colors. So just come with a little bit of patience. I understand I'm speaking English, and there's a lot of talk online about, oh, well, that's why the Philippines is easier. They speak English. I don't know. I've spent a lot of time in the Philippines, and I'm not gonna say they don't speak English, but they seem to understand about 60% of what I'm saying at times. Plus, there are many different dialects in the Philippines. I mean, Tagalog, Bisay, on and on. So yeah, I mean, here in the capital city of Bangkok, you got a pretty good chance of communicating in English. There's just going to be certain little things. Hey, do you have zip ties? No, I'm sorry, we don't have that. And then here they are. Okay, so I got a little crazy. I bought some pots. I'm going to do some tomatoes, but I need a grab car now. So he's escorting me down to the ground floor, and then he'll bring the cart back up. Real customer service. It was 1,800 baht, but I bought a bunch of glues and pots, and what'd I get? 2 pots and that fancy spice rack. I hate ordering a car, but this is kind of a lot to carry on the BTS with these malls. I need to figure out where the pickup point is. I know at the M-Sphere, they pick up the Grab on the 4th floor up by the IKEA, or out on the street out front. I thought I came down to the ground floor. I came down to the first floor so I can get back in the elevator. And maybe that's what I'll do. I'll go down. I know there's a little side entrance to the Sphere across from the YMCA or YWCA. So maybe that's the spot. It's going on a little after 4 now, so probably hit a little traffic, but oh well, I went on a little buying spree. And I just ordered up a car. It's 118 baht from here back to my house. I said, hey, I got a few items. I didn't mention it was potting soil with cow manure, but it's all sealed up. And I said, 40 baht tip, I got to throw some things in the trunk. And he said, no problem. I'll be there in 3 minutes. So, oh, and I forgot to mention, I paid my monthly bills today, or a couple of them. My power bill was 840 baht, and water was 72 baht. It's normally 56, so it's nothing. The power bill in my older building, I haven't turned an AC on 2 months now, maybe for an hour, 2 or 3 times, just to kind of cool the place off in the morning. Sometimes it's super hot at 8, 9 in the morning, and yeah, it kind of cools down towards the end of the year and the beginning of the year. But not using the AC and fans, maybe 3 going 24/7. Even when I leave a fan on just to keep the air circulating. And I'm a little unusual. I leave my windows open. When you look down from my place, nobody has the windows open. And when I ask Boone what's up with that, she says because of the pollution. So there you go. Pollution or not, I like a little bit of air moving through there, and I'm on a corner unit, so yeah, maybe that isn't such a great idea, but that's what I do. When I have the air conditioners running, one of them at super high, like 25C, that kicks my power bill up to 2,800. The highest I've seen is 3,100 baht. So it's not outrageous compared to many Western places. We've had that discussion, the guys sitting around, and my air conditioners are both built in 2006 when the building was made, so 20 years old. I'm sure they're way less efficient than the newer machines. I know my one buddy's in a place, he said it's about, I think 5 or 6 years old. I'm not sure, but if nothing else, he has newer ACs. And even here during the cool season, he's kept an AC on the entire time he's in the unit at like 24. And I think he said his power bill's 15 or 1,600 bucks. So there you go. It's not any reason to pick one building over another, but just keep in mind these 20 and 25-year-old machines, they're gonna struggle to keep up. I hear my compressor or whatever it is out on the balcony going off, so it's definitely working, but I'm sure it's not as efficient as the new machines. It's probably working twice as hard, and that's why the bill is 20-30% more. Thank you so much walking over Ekamai with me, just a day in the life here in Bangkok, Thailand. It gets a little more exciting, but daily living's okay too. So you have a great afternoon, and we'll catch you really soon.